after the break, but right now they're just thinking about winning this ball game. Clark quickly gets it up court, then got it knocked away. Odyssey cradles it, and a timeout taken by Dallas.
In what was supposed to be another chapter in Caitlin Clark's impressive rise in the WNBA, the Indiana Fever star found herself unraveling in a game that highlighted both her brilliance and her shortcomings. We all know her for her fiery competitive spirit and on-court dominance, but in this game, she let her emotions get the better of her in a crucial matchup against the Aces, and her team paid for it. A series of events like technical fouls, questionable decisions, and costly emotional outbursts caused her to be benched at a pivotal moment, leaving her teammates to pick up the pieces in a game they would ultimately lose. And because of this, we can clearly see how Caitlin Clark is destroying her own career. Caitlin Clark's fiery temper has been a well-known aspect of her game since her college years, often resulting in tense exchanges with referees, coaches, and even her family. In a first-round NCAA tournament game against Holy Cross, Clark was seen shouting at her father after committing an offensive foul, a moment that happened in front of everyone after a particularly heated play. Clark's emotional intensity has sparked divided opinions. On one hand, her competitiveness and relentless pursuit of perfection are key factors behind her incredible achievements. Her ability to rebound from rough starts and deliver standout performances is undeniable. For instance, in her first WNBA overtime game against the Atlanta Dream, Clark's composure in crunch time led her team to victory, showcasing her clutch ability in high-pressure moments. But unfortunately, this was not the case in her latest game against the Aces. At times, Clark's frustrations have boiled over, particularly toward officials. This has been a recurring issue, one that has led her to accumulate 6 technical fouls already, putting her on the brink of a one-game suspension if she doesn't bring in her emotions. One recent example of how quickly things can escalate occurred when she received a technical foul after missing a shot and hitting the padding at the base of the hoop. The referee deemed this action disrespectful to the game of basketball. Moments like these may seem minor, but they can snowball into larger issues that affect performance and overall success. This moment happened again in the recent game against the Aces. Clark ran under the ring, hitting the padding, therefore getting the exact same technical foul. Clark said this about it during the post-game interview.
The ball wasn't really rolling my way either to start the game, so proud of myself and proud of our team. I thought we were resilient. There was a lot of things that just didn't go our way. So, but overall, I think we kind of did it to ourselves. I'm proud, like I said, I'm proud of our defense, but there was just areas where we could have, executed a little bit better than made free throws as well.
You would think at Clark's level, once would be enough, but it seems it's not. Another moment that shows us Caitlin's inability to control her emotions is the double technical foul with Victoria Vivians. Clark hit a deep three-pointer over Vivians, and after making the shot, Clark became visibly animated and stared down Vivians as they were making their way to the other end of the court, staring at her as if she was saying, "Yeah, you like that?" The two players then got close and engaged in a heated verbal exchange, with both of them arguing fiercely. As the situation escalated, there was a slight physical bump between the players, which prompted the officials to blow their whistles and intervene. Aaliyah Boston stepped in to separate Clark from the confrontation and direct her away from Vivians, but it was too late. Her emotions already got the better of her. The referees called a double technical foul, issuing technicals to both Clark and Vivians for their roles in the altercation. So, when we look at the latest game against the Aces, it was clear that Clark was fired up, especially seeing as they had lost their last game and were coming for revenge. As someone who thrives on the intensity of big moments, Clark has always played with a passion that fuels her spectacular performances. However, in this game, that intensity boiled over into recklessness yet again. What started as an aggressive drive to dominate quickly spiraled into a series of poor decisions that left fans and teammates questioning Clark's ability to control her own emotions. Early in the game, Clark's frustration became visible as she clashed with officials over what she believed were missed calls. Her complaints soon turned into heated confrontations, and it didn't take long for the refs to hit her with that technical foul I mentioned. Speaking on the incident, Coach Christy Sides said,
We've just got to make sure that we don't let outside things that we have no control over affect us, especially early in the game. I think she got fouled and missed those 2 free throws, and then got frustrated with the officiating at times, but like that's where we've got to be better, and we've got to, handle those things. It's not going to be perfect. Those guys aren't going to be perfect. We're not perfect, but I think we lost some time with with that frustration. So that's just something we're talking about. We're growing, and then after that, she came out in the second half and was, she let it go, and she was a different player, and that's just can't have that first quarter.
Instead of letting the calls go, Clark's frustrations built, impacting her performance on both ends of the court. It was a visible sign of a player who was no longer in control of the game, or herself. The tipping point came in the third quarter when Clark, trying to create space for a shot, barreled into a defender, resulting in an offensive foul. It was a clear case of Clark letting her emotions dictate her decisions. Instead of pulling back and recalibrating, she forced the play, leading to a turnover that not only cost her team possession, but also allowed the Aces to gain momentum. Sides mentioned how the team needed to make better decisions during the game.
Yeah, I mean, Vegas is one of the best teams in this league, and we held them to 78 points. And, our defense keeps getting better, but we've got to just make sure, we did have a couple defensive breakdowns late where we didn't get out to, Kelsey Plum late in the corner. We just have to do a little bit, better job communicating. But we got to make sure that we're taking the best shot for our team. We had some great high-low looks during the game, especially when they had Clark at the 4. We just got to make sure we always talk about getting that advantage. That advantage is mismatches at times. We have to make sure we take advantage of those.
This wasn't the first time Clark's aggression got the better of her in a game, though. She had been playing on the edge from the start, driving into traffic, throwing risky passes, and taking questionable shots. Her determination to win was overshadowed by her inability to control her emotions, which ultimately led to several costly mistakes. And playing like this puts her in a very tough position with her future in the league. Caitlin's former coaches Lisa Bluter and Jen Jensen have also highlighted the importance of Clark's self-awareness and her ability to maximize her unique combination of skill and drive. Jensen has mentioned that Clark is learning to recognize and manage her emotions, which is a key part of her development as a professional athlete while she was at Iowa, but still has a long way to go. I just think it's kind of like raising a child. Sometimes what you see, it looks like toddler behavior, right? It's like you kind of have to keep telling them sometimes. And sometimes you're going to reprimand right away, and sometimes you put them in timeout later. And all of those you're constantly assessing as a coach. Jensen also said that she and the Iowa coaching staff noticed Clark's eruptions during recruiting, which caused some other schools to not recruit her. But Jensen and Bluter understood that Clark was just operating at a different level mentally compared to her peers, which her frustration was based on. Jensen also admitted that it was tough to make Clark's teammates understand early on in her career that Clark didn't mean it when she yelled at them for missing a pass. This is going to severely impact Caitlin's career in the WNBA because teams are not going to want to have a player on their team that is a ticking time bomb, and at any moment she may explode and cause issues. These issues can really impact the team and ultimately their success. Clark has made a regular occurrence of mentioning in post-game interviews that she needs to do a better job of managing her emotions. It seems like every post-game interview she is saying the same thing, yet in the next game, there is no difference. Caitlin's skills are undeniable, but when you're such a star player that can't control your emotions, your future becomes cloudy, especially when in your first WNBA season, you almost have 7 technical fouls. To put that into perspective, she would be the first WNBA rookie in the history of the league to get 7 technical fouls in her first season. If that doesn't tell you that she is her own worst enemy, I don't know what will. Caitlin Clark's performance in this game raises serious questions about her future. While her talent is undeniable, her emotional volatility has become a glaring issue. The technical fouls, the offensive foul, her benching, and her missed free throws were not isolated incidents. They were the result of a pattern of behavior that Clark has struggled to control throughout the season. Her overly aggressive style of play, coupled with her inability to manage her emotions, has now cost her and her team a critical game in a crucial part of the season. As much as we all want to see Caitlin succeed and thrive within the WNBA, you can't help but wonder, what does the future for someone that at any moment can just explode really look like? And if she will continue to destroy her own career, only time will tell.